fire and cold like ice, and there was nothing pleasant and no life in it. Fear covered me, and trembling seized me, and as I was shaking and trembling, I fell down on my face and saw in a vision. And behold, there was a second house, larger than the other, all whose doors stood open before me, and it was built with a tongue of fire, and in all things it excelled in grandeur and magnificence and size, so that I cannot describe to you its magnificence and its size. Its floor was fire, and above it was lightning and the course of the stars, and its ceiling was also a flaming fire. And I looked and saw therein a high throne. Its appearance was like the hoarfrost, and its circuit was like a shining sun, and voices of the cherubim. And from under the great throne came streams of flaming fire, and it was impossible to look at. And he who is great in majesty sat thereon. His garment shone more brilliantly than the sun, and was whiter than any hail. None of the angels were able to enter, nor any flesh to look upon the form of the face of the majestic and honored one. Fire of flaming fire was around him, and a great fire stood before him, and none of those who were around him could approach him. 10,000 times 10,000 were before him, but he required not any holy counsel. And the holy ones who were near him did not leave day or night, nor did they depart from him. And I had so long a veil upon my face, and I trembled, and the Lord called me with his own voice, and said to me, Come hither, Enoch, and to my holy word. And he caused me to arise, and I went to the door, but I bent my face downwards. Chapter 15. And he answered and spoke to me with his word, Hear, and fear not, Enoch, thou just man and scribe of justice. Approach hither, and hear my words. And go, say to the watchers of heaven who have sent thee, that thou shouldst petition for them. Ye should petition for men, and not men for you. Why have ye left the high, holy, and everlasting heaven, and lain with women, and defiled yourselves with the daughter of men, and taken wives unto yourselves, and acted like the children of earth, and begotten giants as sons? While ye were spiritual, holy, having eternal life, ye defiled yourselves with women, and with the blood of flesh have begotten children, and have lusted after the blood of men, and have produced flesh and blood, as they produce who die and are destroyed. Therefore I have given them wives, that they might impregnate them, and children be born by them, as it is done on earth. Ye were formerly spiritual, living an eternal life without death to all the generations of the world. Therefore, I have not made for you any wives, for spiritual beings have their home in heaven. And now the giants, who have been begotten from body and flesh, will be called evil spirits on earth, and their dwelling places will be upon the earth. Evil spirits proceed from their bodies, because they are created from above, their beginning and first basis being from the holy watchers. They will be evil spirits upon the earth, and will be called evil spirits. But the spirits of heaven have their dwelling places in heaven, and the spirits of the earth, who were born on the earth, have their dwelling places on earth. And the spirits of the giants, who cast themselves upon the clouds, will be destroyed and fall, and will battle and cause destruction on the earth, and do evil. They will take no kind of food, nor will they become thirsty, and they will be invisible. And these spirits will not rise up against the children of men, and against the women, because they have proceeded from them in the days of murder and destruction. Chapter 16. And of the death of the giants, when the spirits have proceeded from their bodies, their flesh shall decay without judgment. Thus they shall be destroyed till that day when the great judgment over all the great world shall be completed over the watchers and the impious. And now to the watchers who have sent thee, that thou shouldst petition for them who were formerly in heaven, say, Ye have been in heaven, and though the secrets were not yet revealed to you, still ye knew illegitimate mysteries, and these ye have, in the hardness of your hearts, related to the women. And through these mysteries women and men increase wickedness over the earth. Tell them, therefore, ye have no peace. Section 4, Chapter 17. And they took me to a place where there were images like flaming fire, and when they wished they appeared like men. And he led me to the place of the whirlwind, and on a hill, the point of whose summit reached to heaven, and I saw shining places, and the thunder at the ends thereof, in the depths thereof a bow of fire, and arrows and their quiver, and a sword of fire, and all lightning. And they took me to the so-called water of life, and to the fire of the west, which receives every setting of the sun. And I came to a river of fire, whose fire flows like water, and is emptied into a great sea which is towards the west. And I saw all the great rivers, and came to a great darkness, and went where all flesh wanders. And I saw the mountains of the black clouds of winter, and the place whither all the waters of the deep flow. And I saw the mouths of all the rivers of the earth, and the mouth of the deep. Chapter 18. And I saw the repositories of all the winds, and I saw how he had ornamented all the creation, and the foundations of the earth with them. And I saw the cornerstone of the earth, and I saw the four winds which support the earth, and the firmament of the heavens. And I saw how the winds expand the heights of the heavens, and they remain between heaven and earth, and they are pillars of heaven. And I saw the winds which turn the heavens, which lead down the course of the sun, and all the stars. And I saw the winds upon the earth which carry the clouds, and I saw the paths of the angels. I saw at the end of the earth the firmament of the heavens above, and I proceeded towards the south, and it burns day and night, there where 7 hills of precious stones are, 3 towards the east, 3 towards the south. But of those towards the east, 1 of colored stone, 1 of pearls, and 1 of antimony, and those towards the south of red stone. But the middle one reached up to heaven, like the throne of God, of alabaster, and the summit of the throne of sapphire. And I saw a burning fire, which was in all the hills. And there I saw a place beyond the great earth. There the waters collected. And I saw a great abyss in the earth, with columns of heavenly fire. And I saw among them columns of heavenly fire which fall, and are without number, either towards the height or towards the depth. And over that abyss I saw a place which had no firmament of heaven above it, and no foundation of earth beneath it, and no water above it, and no birds upon it. It was a void place. And there I saw a terrible thing, 7 stars, like great burning mountains, and like spirits that petitioned me. The angel said, This is the place of the consummation of heaven and earth. It is a prison for the stars of heaven, and for the host of heaven. And the stars that roll over the fire are they who have transgressed the command of God before their rising, because they did not come forth in their time. And he was enraged at them, and bound them till the time of the consummation of their sins in the year of the mystery. Chapter 19. And Uriel said to me, Here will stand the souls of those angels who have united themselves with women, and having assumed many different forms, have contaminated mankind, and have led them astray, so that they brought offerings to the demons as to gods, namely, on the day when the great judgment, on which they will be judged, shall be consummated. And their women, having led astray the angels of heaven, will be like their friends. And I, Enoch, alone saw this vision, the ends of all, and no man has seen them as I have seen them. Chapter 20. And these are the names of the holy angels who watch. Uriel, one of the holy angels, the angel of thunder and trembling. Raphael, one of the holy angels, the angel of the spirits of men. Raguel, one of the holy angels, who takes vengeance on the earth and the luminaries. Michael, one of the holy angels, namely set over the best portion of men, over the people. Sarachiel, one of the holy angels, who is over the spirits of the children of men, and who induce the spirits to sin. Gabriel, one of the holy angels, who is over the serpents, and over the paradise and the cherubim. Chapter 21. And I went around to a place where not one thing took place, and I saw there something terrible, no high heavens, no founded earth, but a void place, awful and terrible. And there I saw 7 stars of heaven, tied together to it, like great mountains, and flaming as if by fire. At that time I said, on account of what sin are these bound, and why have they been cast hither? And then answered Uriel, one of the holy angels who was with me, conducting me, and said to me, Enoch, concerning what dost thou ask, and concerning what dost thou inquire, and ask, and art anxious? These are of the stars who have transgressed the command of God, the highest, and are bound here till 10,000 worlds. The number of the days of their sins shall have been consummated. And from there I went to another place which was still more terrible than the former, and I saw a terrible thing. A great fire was there which burned and flickered and appeared in sections. It was bounded by a complete abyss. Great columns of fire were allowed to fall into it. Its extent and size I could not see, and I was unable to see its origin. At that time I said, how terrible this place is, and painful to look at. At that time answered Uriel, one of the holy angels who was with me. He answered and said to me, Enoch, why such fear and terror in thee concerning this terrible place, and in the presence of this pain? And he said to me, this is the prison of the angels, and here they are held to eternity. Section 5, Chapter 22. And from here I went to another place, and he showed me in the west a great and high mountain chain, and hard rocks, and 4 beautiful places. And beneath them there were places deep and broad, and entirely smooth as if a thing were rolled, and deep and dark to look at. And this time Raphael, one of the holy angels who was with me, answered and said to me, these beautiful places are intended for this, that upon them may be assembled the spirits, the souls of the dead. For they have been created, that here all the souls of the sons of men might be assembled. These places have been made their dwellings till the day of their judgment, and to their fixed period, and this period is long, till the great judgment will come over them. And I saw the spirits of the children of men who had died, and their voices reached up to heaven and lamented. At that time I asked the angel Raphael, who was with me, and said to him, whose soul is that one whose voice thus reaches to heaven and laments? And he answered and said to me, saying, that is the spirit that proceeded from Abel, whom his brother Cain slew, and it laments on his account till his seed be destroyed from the face of the earth, and his seed disappear from among the seed of men. And at that time I therefore asked concerning him, and concerning the judgment of all, and said, why is one separated from the other. And he answered and said to me, These 3 apartments are made in order to separate the souls of the dead, and thus are the souls of the just separated. There is a spring of water above it light, and thus also is one such apartment made for the sinners when they die, and are buried in the earth, without a judgment having been passed upon them during their lives. Here their souls are separated in this great affliction until the great day of judgment, and punishment and affliction upon the revilers to eternity, and the vengeance for their souls, and here he binds them to eternity. And if it was before eternity, then this apartment has been made for the souls of those who lament, and those who reveal their destruction when they were killed in the days of the sinners. And thus it has been created for the souls of men who were not just, but sinners, who were complete in their crimes, and they will be with criminals like themselves. But their souls will not be killed on the day of judgment, and will not be taken from here. At that time I blessed the Lord of glory, and said, Blessed is my Lord, the Lord of glory and of justice, who rules all things to eternity. Chapter 23. And from there I went to another place towards the west, and to the ends of the earth. And I saw a flaming fire, which ran without resting, and did not cease from its course day or night, but continued regularly. And I asked, saying, What is that which has no rest? At that time answered Raguel, one of the holy angels who was with me, and said to me, That burning fire which thou seest, running towards the west, is the fire of all the luminaries of heaven. Chapter 24. And from there I went to another place of the earth, and he showed me a mountain chain of fire which flamed day and night, and I went towards it, and saw 7 magnificent mountains, each one different from the other, and magnificent and beautiful rocks, everything magnificent and fine in appearance and of beautiful surface. 3 towards the east, 1 founded upon the other, and 3 towards the south, 1 founded upon the other, and ravines deep and winding, not one joining with the other. And the 7th hill was between these, and in their heights they were all like the seats of a throne, and surrounded with fragrant trees. And among them was a tree such as I had never smelt before, neither among these nor among others, nor was there a fragrance like its. Its leaves and buds and wood do not wither in eternity. Its fruit is beautiful, like the fruit of the vine and the palm tree. And at that time I said, Behold, this is a beautiful tree, and beautiful to look at, and its leaves are fair, and its fruit very pleasant to the eye. At that time answered Michael, one of the holy and honored angels, who was with me, who was over them. Chapter 25. And he said to me, Enoch, what dost thou ask me concerning the fragrance of this tree, and dost seek to know? Then I, Enoch, answered him, saying, Concerning all things I desire to know, but especially concerning this tree. And he answered me, saying, This high mountain which thou hast seen, whose summit is like the throne of God, is the throne where the holy and great God of glory, the eternal King, will sit when he shall descend to visit the earth with goodness. And this tree of beautiful fragrance cannot be touched by any flesh until the time of the great judgment, when all things will be atoned for and consummated for eternity. This will be given to the just and humble. From its fruits, life will be given to the chosen. It will be planted towards the north, in a holy place, towards the house of the Lord, the eternal King. Then they will rejoice greatly and be glad in the Holy One. They will let its fragrance enter their members, and live a long life upon the earth, as thy fathers lived. And in their days no sorrow, or sickness, or trouble, or affliction will touch them. Then I blessed the Lord of glory, the eternal King, because he had prepared such for the just men. and had created such, and said he would give it to them. Chapter 26. And from here I went to the middle of the earth, and saw a place, blessed and fruitful, where there were branches which rooted in and sprouted out of a tree that was cut. And here I saw a holy mountain, and beneath the mountain, towards the east, water which flowed towards the south. And I saw towards the east another mountain of the same height, and between them a deep valley, but not broad. Therein also water flowed along the mountain. And towards the west of this was another mountain, lower than the former, not high, and below, between them a valley. And other deep and sterile valleys were at the end of the three. And all the valleys were deep and not broad, of hard rock, and trees were planted upon them. And I was astonished on account of the rocks, and was astonished on account of the valley, and was very much astonished. Chapter 27. Then I said, For what purpose is this blessed land, which is entirely filled with trees, and this cursed valley between them? Then answered Uriel, one of the holy angels who was with me, and said to me, This cursed valley is for those who will be cursed to eternity, and here will be assembled all those who have spoken with their mouths unseemly words against God, and speak insolently of his glory. Here they will be assembled, and here will be their judgment. And in the latter days there will be the spectacle of a just judgment upon them in the presence of the just, in eternity forever. For this reason, they who have found mercy will bless the Lord of glory, the eternal King. And in the days of their judgment they will bless him for his mercy, according to which he has assigned them their lot. Then I blessed the Lord of glory, and spoke to him, and remembered his greatness, as it is fitting. Chapter 28. And from here I went towards the east, into the midst of the mountains of the desert, and saw only a plain. But it was filled with trees of this seed, and water dropped down over it from above. It was seen that the water which it sucked up was strong, as towards the north, so towards the west, and as in all places, so water and dew also ascended from here. Chapter 29. And I went to another place, away from the desert, approaching the east of the mountains. And there I saw trees of judgment, especially those that emitted the fragrance of frankincense and myrrh. And they were not like ordinary trees. Chapter 30. And above, over these, over the eastern mountain, not far off, I saw another place, valleys with water that does not dry up. And I saw a beautiful tree, and its fragrance was like that of a mastic. And along the edges of these valleys, I saw fragrant cinnamon, and I advanced over these towards the east. Chapter 31. And I saw another mountain in which were trees, from which water flowed, and it flowed like nectar, which is called Sarira and Galbanum. And over this mountain I saw another mountain, on which were aloe trees, and these trees were full of hard substance like almonds. And in taking that fruit it was better than all the odors. Chapter 32. And after these odors, as I looked towards the north, over the mountains, I saw 7 mountains full of pleasant nard, and fragrant trees, and cinnamon, and pepper. And from here I went over the summits of those mountains, far towards the east, and passed far above the Erythraean Sea, and went far from it, and passed over the angel Zutel. And I came into the garden of justice, and I saw the mingled diversity of those trees. Many and large trees are planted there, of attractive beauty, and large and beautiful and magnificent. Also the tree of wisdom. Eating of it, one learns great wisdom. It is like the carob tree. Its fruit is like the grape, very good. The fragrance of this tree goes out and is spread far. And I said, This tree is beautiful. How beautiful and pleasant to look at! Then the holy angel Raphael, who was with me, answered and said to me, This is the tree of wisdom, from which thy old father and thy aged mother, who were before thee, ate, and they learned wisdom, and their eyes were opened, and they learned that they were naked and were driven out of the garden. Chapter 33. And from here I went to the ends of the earth, and saw great animals there, and one differed from the other, and the birds differed as to their appearance. Their beauty and voices, one differed from the other. And to the east of these animals I saw the ends of the earth, where the heavens rest, and the portals of the heavens open. And I saw where the stars come out from heaven, and I counted the portals out of which they come. And I wrote down all their outlets, each one, according to their number and their names, their connections and their positions and their times and their months, as the angel Uriel, who was with me, showed them to me. He showed all things to me and wrote them down for me. Also their names he wrote for me, and their laws and their deeds. Chapter 34. And from here I went towards the north, to the ends of the earth, and there I saw a great and magnificent wonder, at the ends of the whole earth. There I saw 3 portals of heaven open in the heavens. From each of them proceed north winds. When one of them blows, there is cold, hail, frost, snow, dew, and rain, and out of one of the portals it blows for good. But when it blows from the 2 other portals, it blows with power, and there is misfortune upon the earth, and they blow with great power. Chapter 35. And from here I went towards the west, to the ends of the earth, and saw there 3 open portals, as I had seen in the east, similar portals and similar outlets. Chapter 36. And from here I went towards the south, to the ends of the south, and there I saw 3 open portals of heaven. Out of them come the south wind and dew and rain and wind. And from here I went towards the east, to the ends of the heavens, and there I saw the 3 portals of heaven open towards the east, and over them small portals. Through each of these small portals the stars of the heavens come and go every evening on the path which is shown to them. And as I looked, I blessed, and thus each time I blessed the Lord of glory, who had made the great and glorious wonders, to show the greatness of his work to the angels and to the souls of men, that they might praise his work, and that all his creatures might see the works of his might, and praise the great work of his hand, and bless him to eternity. In Section 6. Chapter 37. The second vision of wisdom which Enoch, the son of Jared, the son of Mahalaleel, the son of Canaan, the son of Enos, the son of Seth, the son of Adam, saw. And this is the beginning of the words of wisdom which I commenced to speak and to relate to those who dwell on the earth. Hear, ancestors, and see, descendants, the holy words which I will speak before the Lord of the spirits. It is proper to name the former first, but from the descendants too, we will not keep back the beginning of wisdom. And up to the present time, there was not given from before the Lord of the spirits the wisdom which I have received according to my knowledge, according to the pleasure of the Lord of the spirits, by whom the portion of life everlasting was given to me. 3 parables were given to me, and I commenced to relate them to those who dwell on the earth. Section 7. Chapter 38. First parable. When the congregation of the just shall appear, and the sinners are condemned because of their sins, and expelled from the face of the earth, and when the just one shall appear in the presence of the just who are chosen, whose deeds hang on the Lord of the spirits, and the light shall appear to the just and to the chosen, who dwell on the earth, where will be the habitation of the sinners, and where the resting places of those who have denied the Lord of the spirits. It were better had they not been born, and when the secrets of the just shall be revealed, then the sinners will be judged, and the impious will be expelled from the presence of the just and chosen. And from that time those who hold the earth will not be powerful and exalted, nor will they be able to behold the face of the just. For the light of the Lord of the spirits is seen on the face of the holy and just and chosen. And the mighty kings will perish at that time, and will be given over into the hands of the just and holy. And from that time on, no one can ask for mercy from the Lord of the spirits, for their lives have ended. Chapter 39. And it will come to pass in these days that the chosen and holy children will descend from the high heavens, and their seed will become one with the children of men. In those days Enoch received books of zeal and of anger, and books of disturbance and of expulsion, and mercy will not be upon them, said the Lord of the spirits. And at that time a cloud and a whirlwind seized me from the face of the earth and carried me to the end of the heavens. And here I saw another vision, the dwellings of the just and the resting places of the holy. Here my eyes saw their dwellings with the angels, and their resting places with the holy, and they asked and petitioned and prayed in behalf of the children of men. And justice like water flowed before them, and mercy like dew on the earth. Thus it is among them to all eternity. And in those days my eyes saw the place of the chosen of justice and of faith, and how justice will be in their days, and the just and chosen without number before him to all eternity. And I saw their dwelling under the wings of the Lord of the spirits, and all the just and chosen before him are ornamented as with the light of fire, and their mouths are full of blessings, and their lips praise the name of the Lord of the spirits, and justice before him will not cease. Here I desired to dwell, and my soul longed for this place. Here my portion has been before, for such is established concerning me before the Lord of the spirits. And in those days I blessed and exalted the name of the Lord of the spirits with blessings and praise, for he has strengthened me in blessings and praise according to the will of the Lord of the spirits. For a long time my eyes looked at this place, and I blessed him, saying, Bless him, and let him be blessed from the beginning and to eternity. Before him there is no ceasing. He knows, before the world was created, what the world is and will be from generation to generation. Thee they praise who do not sleep. They stand before thy glory, and bless and glorify and exalt thee, saying, Holy, 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 the Lord of the spirits fills the earth with spirits. And here my eyes saw all those who do not sleep, standing before him, and blessing him, and they say, Blessed art thou, and blessed the name of the Lord to all eternity. And my face was changed until I could see no more. Chapter 40. And after that I saw 1,000 times 1,000, and 10,000 times 10,000 beings, an innumerable and immense multitude, who stood before the glory of the Lord of the spirits. I looked, and on the four sides of the Lord of the spirits I saw 4 faces, different from those standing, and I learned their names, which the angel who came with me announced as their names to me, and showed me all the secrets. And I heard the voices of those 4 faces as they blessed before the Lord of glory. The first voice blessed the Lord of the spirits to all eternity. And I heard the second voice praising the chosen one, and the chosen ones who hang on the Lord of the spirits. And I heard the third voice asking and praying for those who dwell on the earth, and petitioning in the name of the Lord of the spirits. And I heard the fourth voice keeping off the Satans, and not allowing them to come before the Lord of the spirits and accuse those who dwell on the earth. After that I asked the angel of peace who went with me, who showed me all things that were hidden, and said to him, Who are these four faces that I see, and whose voices I hear and have written them down? And he said to me, The first is the holy Michael, merciful, slow to anger, and the second, who is over all sicknesses and over all wounds of the children of men, is Raphael. And the third, who is over all the powers, is the holy Gabriel. And the fourth, who is over penitence and the hope of those who inherit everlasting life, is Phanuel. And these are the four angels of God, the Most High, and the four voices I heard in those days. Chapter 41. And after this I saw all the secrets of heaven, and the kingdom as it is divided, and how the deeds of men are weighed upon scales. There I saw the dwellings of the chosen, and the dwellings of the holy, and my eyes saw there how all the sinners were cast from there, they who had denied the name of the Lord of the spirits, and they are dragged away, and there is no rest for them because of the punishments which proceed from the Lord of the spirits. And there my eyes saw the secrets of the lightning, and of the thunder, and the secrets of the winds, how they are divided to blow over the earth, and the secrets of the clouds and of the dew. And there I saw also from what place they proceed, and from whence they satisfy the dust of the earth. And there I saw the closed repositories, and from them the winds are divided out, and the repository of hail, and the repository of fog, and of the clouds. And his cloud hovers over the earth from the beginning of the world. And I saw the repositories of the sun and of the moon, from whence they came, and to which they return, and their glorious return, and how one is more glorious than the other, and their fixed course, and how they do not leave their course, and how they add nothing to their course, and take nothing from it, and preserve their fidelity one with the other, remaining steadfast in their oath. And first the sun goes out, and makes his way according to the command of the Lord of the spirits, and strong is his name to all eternity. And after this the hidden and the revealed course of the moon, completing the course of her way in that place by day and by night, one looking at the other before the Lord of the spirits, and they give thanks and praise and do not rest, for their thanksgiving is rest for them. For the shining sun makes many changes for a blessing and for a curse, and for the course of the path of the moon is light to the just, and darkness to the sinners in the name of the Lord, who created a separation between light and darkness, and divided the spirits of men, and strengthened the spirits of the just in the name of his own justice. For neither does an angel hinder, nor is any power able to hinder, for the judge sees them all and judges them all before him. Chapter 42. Wisdom did not find a place where she might live, and a dwelling place was given to her in the heavens. Wisdom came to dwell among the children of men, and found no dwelling place. Wisdom returned to her place, and took her seat among the angels. And injustice came forth from its repository, whom it did not seek, them it found, and dwelt with them like rain in the desert, and like dew in the thirsty land. Chapter 43. And again I saw lightning, and the stars of heaven, and I saw how he called them all by their names, and they heard him. And I saw that they were weighed on the scales of justice, according to their light, according to the width of their places, and the day of their appearance, and their course. One flash of lightning produces another, and their course according to the number of angels, and their fidelity they preserved among themselves. And I asked the angel who went with me, who showed me what was secret, What are these? And he said to me, The Lord of the spirits has showed thee a picture of them. These are the names of the just who dwell on the earth, and believe on the name of the Lord of the spirits to all eternity. Chapter 44. Also, other things I saw in reference to the flashes of lightning, how they arise from the stars and become lightning, and can leave nothing behind with them. Section 8, Chapter 45. And this is the second parable concerning those who deny the name of the dwelling place of the Holy and of the Lord of the spirits. They will not ascend to heaven, and will not come on the earth. Such will be the portion of the sinners who deny the name of the Lord of the spirits, who are thus preserved to the day of suffering and sorrow. On that day the chosen one will sit upon the throne of glory, and will choose among their deeds and places without number, and their spirit will become strong in them when they see my chosen one, and those who have called upon my holy and glorious name. And on that day I will cause my chosen one to dwell among them, and will transform heaven, and make it a blessing and a light eternally. And I will transform the earth, and make it a blessing, and will cause my chosen ones to dwell thereon, and those who have committed sins and crimes will not step on it. For I have seen and satisfied with peace my just ones, and have placed them before me. But for the sinners there awaits before me a judgment, that I may destroy them from the face of the earth. Chapter 46. And there I saw one who had a head of days, and his head was white like wool, and with him was a second whose countenance was like the appearance of a man, and his countenance was full of agreeableness, like one of the holy angels. And I asked one of the angels who went with me, and who showed me all the secrets concerning this Son of Man, who he was, and whence he was, and why he goes with the head of days. And he answered and said to me, This is the Son of Man, who has justice, and justice dwells with him. And all the treasures of secrecy he reveals, because the Lord of the spirits has chosen him, and his portion overcomes all things before the Lord of the spirits in rectitude to eternity. And this Son of Man, whom thou hast seen, will arouse the kings and mighty from their couches, and the strong from their thrones, and will loosen the bands of the strong, and will break the teeth of the sinners. He will expel the kings from their thrones and from their kingdoms, because they do not exalt him, and praise him, and do not acknowledge humbly whence the kingdom was given to them. And he will expel the countenance of the strong, and shame will fill them. Darkness will be their dwelling place, and worms will become their couches, and they will have no hope of rising from their couches, because they do not exalt the name of the Lord of the spirits. And these are they who master the stars of heaven, and raise their hands against the Most High, and tread the earth and live thereon. And all their doing is injustice, and their doing manifests injustice. And their power is in their riches, and their faith is in gods which they have made with their hands, and they have denied the name of the Lord of the spirits. And they will be cast out of the houses of his congregations, and of the faithful who hang on the name of the Lord of the spirits. Chapter 47. And in those days the prayer of the just and the blood of the just one ascend from the earth before the Lord of the spirits. In these days the holy ones who dwell in high heaven will unite in one voice, and will petition and pray and praise and thank and bless the name of the Lord of the spirits, on account of the blood of the just which has been spilled, and the prayer of the just, that it may not be in vain before the Lord of the spirits, that judgment may be held over them, and they not suffer to eternity. And in those days I saw the head of days, as he sat upon the throne of his glory, and the books of the living were opened before him, and his whole host, which is in high heaven and around him, stood before him. And the hearts of the holy ones were filled with joy, because the number of justice was fulfilled and the prayers of the just had been heard, and the blood of the just one had been demanded before the Lord of the spirits. Chapter 48. And at that place I saw an inexhaustible fountain of justice, and around it many fountains of wisdom, and all the thirsty drank out of them, and were filled with wisdom, and their dwelling places were with the just and holy and chosen. And at that hour that Son of Man was called near the Lord of the spirits, and his name before the head of days. And before the sun and the signs were created, before the stars of heaven were made, his name was called before the Lord of the spirits. He will be a staff to the just and the holy, upon which they will support themselves and not fall. And he will be the light of the nations, and he will be the hope of those who are sick in their hearts. All who live upon the earth will fall down before him and bend the knee to him, and will bless and praise him, and will sing psalms in the name of the Lord of the spirits. For this purpose he was chosen, and hidden before him the world was created, and he will be before him to eternity. And the wisdom of the Lord of the spirits has revealed him to the holy and the just, for he preserves the portion of the just, because they have hated and despised this world of injustice, and have hated all its deeds and ways in the name of the Lord of the spirits. For in his name they will be saved, and he will be the revenger of their lives. And in those days the countenances of the kings of the earth, and of the mighty who possess the earth, will be bent down on account of the deeds of their hands. For on the day of their terror and trouble, their souls will not be saved. And I will put them into the hands of my chosen, like straw in fire, and like lead in water. Thus they will burn before the face of the just, and sink before the face of the holy, and no trace of them will be found. And on the day of their trouble, there will be rest on the earth. Before him they will fail and not rise again, and there will be no one to take them with his hands and lift them up, because they have denied the Lord of the spirits and his anointed. The name of the Lord of the spirits be blessed. Chapter 49. For wisdom is poured out like water, and glory does not cease before him to all eternity. For he is powerful, and all the secrets of justice and injustice, like a shadow, will end, having no stability, because the chosen one has arisen before the Lord of the spirits, and his glory is to all eternity, and his power to all generations. In him dwells the spirit of wisdom, and the spirit of him who imparts understanding, and the spirit of doctrine and of power, and the spirit of those asleep in justice. And he will judge the secrets, and no one will be able to speak a vain word before him, because he is the chosen one before the Lord of the spirits, and according to his will. Chapter 50. And in those days there will be a change for the holy and chosen, and the light of the days will dwell over them, and glory and honor will be turned over to the holy. And on the day of trouble, evil will gather over the sinners, but the just will overcome through the name of the Lord of the spirits, and he will show it to the others, that they may repent and cease the work of their hands. And they will have no honor before the Lord of the spirits, but in his name they will be saved. And the Lord of the spirits will have mercy on them, for his mercy is great. And he is just in his judgment, and before his glory and injustice will not stand in his judgment. Whosoever will not repent shall be destroyed. Henceforth I will not have mercy on them, says the Lord of the spirits. Chapter 51. And in those days the earth will return that entrusted to it, and Sheol will return that entrusted to it which it has received, and hell will return what it owes. And he will choose the just and holy from among them, for the day has come that they be saved. And the chosen one in those days will sit upon his throne, and all the secrets of wisdom will proceed from the thoughts of his mouth. For the Lord of the spirits has given it to him, and has honored him. And in those days the mountain will skip like rams, and the hills spring like lambs satisfied with milk, and they will all be angels in heaven. Their faces will shine in gladness, because the chosen one has arisen in those days. And the earth will rejoice, and the just will live thereon, and the chosen will walk and move thereon. Chapter 52. And after those days, at that place where I had seen all the visions of that which is hidden, for I was taken up by the whirling of the wind and carried toward the west, there my eyes saw the secrets of heaven, all things that will be on the earth, a mountain of iron, and a mountain of copper, and a mountain of silver, and a mountain of gold, and a mountain of soft metal, and a mountain of lead. And I asked the angel who went with me, saying, What are those things which I have seen in secret? And he said to me, All these things which thou hast seen are for the power of his anointed, that he may command and be powerful on the earth. Then this angel of peace answered and said to me, Wait a little, and thou wilt see, and there will be revealed to thee every secret that the Lord of the spirits has planted. These mountains which thou hast seen, the mountain of iron, and the mountain of copper, and the mountain of silver, and the mountain of gold, and the mountain of soft metal, and the mountain of lead, all these will be before the chosen one, like wax in the presence of fire, and like the water which falls down from above on these mountains, and will be weak before his feet. And it will come to pass in those days that no one will save himself, not with gold and not with silver. No one will be able to save himself or to flee. And there will be no iron for war, and no clothing for a breastplate. Metal will not aid, and zinc will not aid, and will not be beaten out, and lead will not be desired. And all these things will disappear and be destroyed from the face of the earth, when the chosen one shall appear before the face of the Lord of the spirits. Chapter 53. And there my eyes saw a deep valley, whose mouth was open, and all those who dwell upon the earth and sea and islands will bring him gifts and presents and tokens of submission. But that deep valley will not be filled. And they commit crimes with their hands, and everything they make they devour criminally, they, the sinners. But they will be destroyed in the presence of the Lord of the spirits, they, the sinners, and will be chased from off the face of his earth continually to all eternity. For I have seen the angels of punishment going and preparing all the instruments for Satan. And I asked the angel of peace who went with me, These instruments, for whom have they been prepared? And he said to me, These are prepared for the kings and the mighty of his earth, that they be destroyed with them. And after this, the just and chosen one will cause the house of his congregation to appear. Henceforth it will not be hindered in the name of the Lord of the spirits. And these mountains will be in his presence like the earth, and the hills will be like a fountain of water, and the just will rest from the oppression of the sinners. Chapter 54. And I looked and turned toward another side of the earth, and I saw there a deep valley with a burning fire. And they brought the kings and the powerful, and put them into the deep valley. And there my eyes saw how they make instruments for them, iron chains of immense weight. And I asked the angel of peace who went with me, saying, These chain instruments, for whom have they been prepared? And he said to me, These have been prepared for the hosts of Azazel, to imprison them, and put them into the lowest hell, and their jaws will be covered with rough stones, and as the Lord of the spirits has commanded. Michael and Gabriel, Raphael and Phanuel, they will overpower them on that great day, will throw them on that day into the oven of burning fire, that the Lord of the spirits may avenge himself on them on account of their injustice, because they became subject to Satan, and have led astray those who dwell on the earth. And in those days the punishment from the Lord of the spirits will come, and all the repositories of water which are above in the heavens, and also the fountains of water which are under the heavens and which are under the earth will be opened. And all the waters will be joined with the waters which are above in the heavens. But the water which is in high heaven is the masculine, and the water which is beneath on the earth is the feminine. And then will be destroyed all those who dwell on the earth, and those who dwell under the ends of heaven. And through this they know their injustice, which they have done on the earth, and therefore they are destroyed. Chapter 55. And after that the head of days repented and said, In vain have I destroyed all who dwell on the earth. And he swore by his great name, Henceforth I will not do thus to all those who dwell on the earth, and I will place a sign in the heavens, and it will be a token of fidelity between me and them to eternity, as long as heaven is above the earth. And then it will be according to my command, when I desire to overpower them by the hand of the angel on the day of trouble and suffering. Before this, my anger and my punishment will remain over them, says the Lord of the spirits. Ye mighty kings who will dwell on the earth, ye shall be about to see my chosen one, as he sits on the throne of my glory, and judges Azazel and all his associates, and all his hosts in the name of the Lord of the spirits. Chapter 56. And I saw the hosts of the angels of punishment, walking and holding chains of iron and metal. And I asked the angel of peace who went with me, saying, To whom are these going, holding them? And he said to me, Each one to his chosen and his beloved, that they be thrown into the deep abyss of the valley. And then that valley will be filled with their chosen and beloved, and the day of their lives will be ended. And the day of their error will, from that time on, not be counted. And in those days the angels will assemble, and turn their heads towards the east, towards the people of Parthia and Media, in order to excite the kings, and that a spirit of disturbance come over them, and disturb them from off their thrones, that they come forth from their resting places like lions, and like hungry wolves amidst their flocks, and they will ascend and step upon the land of their chosen.
Oh my god, why is tapping? Why is tapping? What's wrong? Oh no, it's gone.
On my face.
Come back.
And Enoch, my grandfather, came and stood by me and said to me, Why dost thou so bitterly and lamentingly cry to me? A command has come from before the presence of the Lord over all those who dwell on earth, that their end is at hand, because they know all the secrets of the angels, and all the violence of the Satans, and all the powers of secrecy, and all the powers of those who practice sorcery, and the powers of fascination, and the powers of those who make metal images of the whole earth, and also how silver is produced from the dust of the earth, and how soft metal originates on the earth. For lead and zinc are not produced like the former. A fountain it is which produces them, and an angel who stands in it, and that angel is excellent. And after that, my grandfather Enoch took hold of me with his hand, and raised me up, and said to me, Go, for I have asked the Lord of the spirits concerning this shaking of the earth. And he said to me, On account of their injustice, their judgment is completed, and will not be counted before me concerning the mouths which they have searched out, and through which they have learned that the earth will be destroyed, and those who live thereon. And for them there will be no place of refuge to eternity, because they have showed them that which was secret, and they will be judged. But not thou, my son. The Lord of the spirits knows that thou art clean and free of this blame concerning the secrets. And he has strengthened thy name among the holy, and will preserve thee from those who dwell on the earth, and will strengthen thy seed in justice for kings and great honors. And from thy seed will proceed the fountain of the just and the holy, without number to eternity. Chapter 66. And after that he showed me the angels of punishment, who are prepared to come in order to open all the powers of the water which is under the earth, that it may be a judgment and destruction over all those who live and dwell on the earth. And the Lord of spirits commanded the angels who went forth, that they should not lift up their hands, but should wait. For these angels are over the power of the waters. And I went away from the presence of Enoch. Chapter 67. And in those days the voice of God was with me, and he said to me, Noah, behold, thy portion has ascended to me, a portion without blame, a portion of love and of rectitude. And now the angels are making a wooden building, and when they are gone to that work, I will lift up my hands upon it, and will preserve it. And out of it will be the seed of life, and a change will come so that the earth does not remain empty. And I will strengthen thy seed before me to all eternity, and will scatter those who dwell with thee over the face of the earth. And it will be blessed and increased over the earth in the name of the Lord. And they will enclose those angels who have showed injustice in that flaming valley which my grandfather Enoch showed to me before, in the west, in the mountains of gold and of silver and of iron and of soft metal and of zinc. And I saw that valley in which there was a great shaking and a shaking of the waters. And as this took place, there was produced from that flaming, flowing metal, and out of the shaking that shook them at that place, an odor of sulfur. And it united with those waters, and that valley of the angels who had led astray burned under that earth. And through the valley of that earth come rivers of fire, where those angels who had led astray those who dwell on the earth are condemned. And those waters will be in those days for the kings and the powerful and exalted, and those who dwell on the earth, a medicine of the soul and of the body, but for a judgment of the spirit, because their spirits are full of lust, that they be punished in their bodies, because they have denied the Lord of the spirits, and see their judgments daily, and still believe not in his name. And as the burning of their bodies increases, there will be a change in their spirit to all eternity. For no one will speak a vain word before the Lord of the spirits. For the judgment comes over them, because they believe in the lust of their flesh and deny the Spirit of the Lord. And those waters themselves in those days suffer a change. For when those angels shall be condemned on those days, the heat of those fountains of the waters changes. And when the angels ascend, this water of the fountains changes and becomes cold. And I heard the holy Michael answering and saying, This judgment, wherewith the angels are condemned, is a testimony for the kings and the powerful, and for those who hold the earth. For these waters of judgment are a healing of the angels, and a death to their bodies. But they will not see and will not believe that those waters change, and will become a fire which burns to eternity. Chapter 68. And after that my grandfather Enoch gave me the signs of all the secrets in a book, and the parables which had been given to him, and he compiled them for me in the words of the book of the parables. And on that day the holy Michael answered, saying to Raphael, The power of the Spirit forces me and angers me, and on account of the severity of the judgment of the secrets, the judgment over the angels. Who can endure the severity of the judgment which has passed and remains, and before which they melt away? And the holy Michael answered again, and said to Raphael, Who is he whose heart is not softened concerning it, and whose reins are not shaken by this word? A judgment has come over them from those whom they have thus led out. And it came to pass, as he stood before the Lord of the spirits, the holy Michael spoke to Raphael, And I will not be for them under the eye of the Lord. For the Lord of the spirits is angered at them, because they act as if they were like gods. Therefore judgment which is hidden comes over them to all eternity. Therefore neither angel nor man will receive his portion, but they alone will receive their judgment to all eternity. Chapter 69. And after this judgment, they will terrify and anger them, because they have showed this to those who dwell on the earth. And behold, the names of those angels, and these are their names. The first of them is Semyaza, the second, Arestakepha, the third, Armen, the fourth, Cacabael, the fifth, Turel, the sixth, Rumhal, the seventh, Danel, the eighth, Nukael, the ninth, Barakel, the 10th, Azazel, the 11th, Armers, the 12th, Bartajal, the 13th, Bazazael, the 14th, Ananel, the 15th, Terjal, the 16th, Simapisiel, the 17th, Jeterel, the 18th, Tumael, the 19th, Terel, the 20th, Rumael, the 21st, Izaziel. And these are the heads of the angels, and the names of their chiefs, over 100, and the chiefs over 50, and the chiefs over 10. The name of the first, Yakun. He is the one who has led astray all the children of the holy angels, and has led them down on the earth, and has led them astray through the daughters of men. And the second is called Asbael, and he is the one who has taught the children of the holy angels the wicked device, and has led them astray to destroy their bodies with the daughters of men. And the third is called Gadrael. He is the one who has taught the children of men all the blows of death, and led astray Eve, and showed to the children of men the instruments of death, the coat of mail, and the shield, and the sword for battle, and all the instruments of death to the sons of men. And from his hand they have come over those who dwell on the earth, from that time to eternity. And the fourth is called Penamu. He has taught the sons of men the bitter and the sweet, and taught them all the secrets of their wisdom. He taught men writing with ink and paper, and thereby many sinned from eternity and to eternity up to this day. For men were not born to the purpose that they should thus strengthen their fidelity with a pen and with ink. For man was not created otherwise than the angels, that they should remain just and pure, and death, which destroys all things, would not have touched them. But through this their knowledge they are destroyed, and through this power it devours me. And the fifth is named Kasdeha. He has taught the sons of men all the wicked beatings of the spirits and the demons, the beatings of the birth in the womb, that it fall, and the beatings of the soul, the bites of the serpent, and the beatings which take place at noon, the son of the serpent whose name is Tabat. And this is the number of Kesbael, who showed the head of the oath to the holy ones, when he dwelt high in glory, and his name is Bekah. And this one said to the holy Michael that he should show them the secret name, that they might see that secret name, and that they might mention this name in the oath, and they may tremble before that name and the oath, those that showed to the children of men all that is secret. And this is the power of that oath, for it is powerful and strong. And he placed this oath, a K, into the hands of the holy Michael.
Let's eat.
And these are the secrets of this oath. And they were strengthened by his oath, and heaven was suspended before the earth was made, and to eternity. And by it the earth was founded on the water, and from the secret places of the mountains come beautiful waters for the living, from the creation of the world to eternity. And by that oath the sea was created, and as its foundations he placed for it sand, for the time of rage, and it dare not pass over from the creation of the world and to eternity. And by that oath the depths were strengthened and stand and do not move from their places, from eternity and to eternity. And by that oath the sun and the moon complete their course and depart not from their commands, from eternity and to eternity. And by that oath the stars complete their courses, and he calls their names, and they answer him from eternity and to eternity. And also the spirits of the water and of the winds, and of all the zephyrs and their paths, according to all the unions of the spirits. And in it are preserved the repositories of the voice of thunder, and of the light of the lightning. And there are preserved the repositories of hail, and of the hoarfrost, and the repositories of the fog, and the repositories of the rain, and of the dew. And all these believe in, and render ranks before the Lord of the spirits, and praise him with all their power. And their food is all thanksgiving. And they thank and praise and exult in the name of the Lord of the spirits to all eternity. And over them this oath is strong, and they are preserved by it, and their paths are preserved, and the courses are not destroyed. And there was great joy among them, and they blessed and honored and exalted, because the name of the Son of Man had been revealed unto them. And he sat upon the throne of his glory, and the sum of the judgment was given to him, the Son of Man. And he causes to disappear and to be destroyed the sinners from the face of the earth, and also those who have led astray the earth. They shall be bound with chains, and shall be imprisoned in the assembling place of destruction, and all their work shall disappear from the face of the earth. And from that time on there will be nothing that will be destroyed, for he, the Son of Man, has appeared, and sits on the throne of his glory, and all wickedness will disappear before his face and depart. But the word of that Son of Man will be strong before the Lord of the spirits. This is the third parable of Enoch.
Gulay.
Section 12, Chapter 70. And it came to pass after this, that his name was elevated during his lifetime, to that Son of Man, to the Lord of the spirits, away from those who dwell on the earth. And it was elevated on the wagons of the Spirit, and the name departed in their midst. And from that day I was not drawn in their midst, and he set me between two winds, between the north and the west, there where the angels took the cords to measure for me the place for the chosen and for the just. And there I saw the first fathers and the just, who dwell in this place from the beginning. Chapter 71. And it came to pass after this, that my spirit was hidden, and it ascended into the heavens. There I saw the sons of the angels, stepping on a flame of fire. Their clothes were white, and also their garments, and the light of their faces was like crystal. And I saw two rivers of fire, and the light of that fire flamed like hyacinth. And I fell on my face before the Lord of the spirits. And Michael, an angel from among the chiefs of the angels, took me by the right hand and lifted me up, and led me out to all the secrets of mercy and to the secrets of justice. And he showed me all the secrets of the ends of heaven, and all the repositories of the stars and of the luminaries, where whence they proceed into the presence of the holy ones. And the Spirit moved Enoch into the heaven of heavens. And I saw there in the midst of the light how there was something which was built of crystal stone, and between these stones tongues of living fire. And my spirit saw how a fire surrounded this house, on the four sides rivers full of living fire, and how they surrounded this house. And around about were seraphim and cherubim and ophanim. These are they who do not sleep, but guard the throne of his glory. And I saw angels who could not be numbered, 1,000 times 1,000, and 10,000 times 10,000, surrounded that house. And Michael and Raphael, Gabriel and Phanuel, and the holy angels who are in the high heavens, enter and leave that house. And Michael and Gabriel, Raphael and Phanuel, and many holy angels without number came out of that house, and with them the head of days, his head white and clean as wool, and his garments beyond description. And I fell on my face, and all my flesh melted, and my spirit was changed. And I cried with a loud voice, with the spirit of power, and I blessed and honored and exalted. And these blessings which proceeded from my mouth were pleasing before that head of days. And that head of days came with Michael and Gabriel, Raphael and Phanuel, and with thousands, and with 10,000 times 1,000 angels without number. And that angel came to me and greeted me with his voice, and said to me, Thou art a son of man who was born to justice, and justice dwells over thee, and the justice of the head of days will not depart from thee. And he said to me, He calls peace unto thee, in the name of the world which is to come. For thence peace proceeds since the creation of the world, and thus it will be to thee to eternity, and from eternity to eternity. And all who will continue to walk in thy path, thou whom justice does not leave in eternity, their dwelling places will be with thee, and they will not be separated from thee in eternity, and from eternity to eternity. And so long life will be with that Son of Man, and peace will be to the just, and his right path to the just, in the name of the Lord of the spirits, to all eternity. Section 13, Chapter 72. The book of the courses of the luminaries of heaven, how it is with each one of them, as to their classes, their governments, their times, as to their names and origins, and as to their months, which their leader Uriel, a holy angel who was with me, showed to me, and their whole description, as it is he showed to me, and how it is with respect to all the years of the world, and to eternity, till a new creation is made, which will continue to eternity. And this is the first law of the luminaries. The luminary sun has its ascent in the portals of the heavens which are towards the east, and his descent in the western portals of heaven. And I saw 6 portals, out of which the sun ascends, and 6 portals into which the sun descends. The moon also rises and sets in these portals, and the leaders of the stars and those led by them, 6 in the east and 6 in the west, and all, each after the other, aright. Also many windows to the right and to the left of these portals. And first comes forth the great luminary called the sun, and his circuit is like the circuit of the heavens, and he is entirely filled with flaming and heating fire. The wagons on which he ascends are driven by the wind, and the sun, descending, disappears from the heavens and returns through the north in order to reach the east, and is led that he comes to that portal, and shines on the surface of heaven. And thus he comes forth, in the first month, in the great portal, and he comes forth from the fourth of these 6 portals towards the east. And in that fourth portal, from which the sun comes forth in the first month, there are 12 window openings, from which a flame proceeds, when they are opened in their time. When the sun rises from the heavens, he comes out of that fourth portal 30 mornings, and descends directly into the fourth western portal of heaven. And in those days, the day is daily lengthened, and the nights nightly shortened, to the 30th morning. And in that day, the day is 2 parts longer than the night, and the day is exactly 10 parts, and the night 8 parts. The sun comes forth from this fourth portal, and sets in the fourth, and returns to the fifth portal of the east 30 mornings, and comes forth from it, and descends into the fifth portal. From then on the day is lengthened 2 parts, and the day is 11 parts, and the night is shortened, and is 7 parts. And the sun returns to the east, and goes into the 6th portal, and comes forth, and descends into the 6th portal. 31 mornings on account of its sign. And on that day the day is longer than the night, and the day will be double the night. And the day is 12 parts, and the night is shorter, and is 6 parts. And the sun is raised so that the day is shortened, and the night is lengthened. And the sun returns to the east, and enters the 6th portal, and rises from it, and sets 30 mornings. And when the 30 mornings are completed, the day diminishes by exactly 1 part, and the day is 11 parts, and the night 7 parts. And the sun comes forth from this 6th portal in the west, and goes to the east, and rises in the 5th portal 30 mornings, and sets in the west again in the 5th portal. On that day, the day diminishes 2 parts, and the day will be 10 parts, and the night 8 parts. And the sun comes forth from that 5th portal, and descends into the 5th portal of the west, and rises in the 4th portal, on account of its sign, 31 mornings, and descends in the west. On that day the day is equal to the night, and becomes equal. And the night is 9 parts, and the day 9 parts. And the sun comes forth from that portal, and sets in the west, and returns to the east, and comes forth from the 3rd portal 30 mornings, and sets in the west in the 3rd portal. And on that day the night is longer than the day to the 30th morning, and the day becomes shorter daily to the 30th morning. And the night is exactly 10 parts, and the day 8 parts. And the sun comes forth from that 3rd portal, and sets in the 3rd portal in the west, and returns to the east. And the sun goes into the 2nd portal of the east 30 mornings, and in like manner into the 2nd portal in the west of the heavens. And on that day the night is 11 parts, and the day 7 parts. And the sun comes forth on that day from the 2nd portal, and descends into the west, into the 2nd portal, and returns to the east in the 1st portal 31 mornings, and descends into the west into the 1st portal. And on that day the night diminishes in length by 1 part, and is 11 parts, and the day 7 parts. And the sun returns, and goes into the 2nd portal of the east, and returns to his course 30 mornings, rising and setting. And on that day the night diminishes in length, and the night is 10 parts, and the day 8 parts. And on that day the sun comes forth from the 2nd portal, and descends in the west, and returns to the east, and rises in the 3rd portal 31 mornings, and sets in the west of the heavens. And on that day the night is shortened, and is 9 parts, and the day is 9 parts. And the night is equal with the day, and the year has exactly 364 days. and the length of the day and of the night, and the shortness of the day and of the night. By the course of the sun they are made separated. On that account the day course becomes longer daily, and the night course shorter nightly. And this is the law, and the course of the sun and his return, when he returns. 60 times he returns and comes out. That is the great eternal luminary, which is called the sun to all eternity. And that which thus ascends is the great luminary, as it is called on account of its appearance, according to the command of the Lord. And thus he ascends and descends, and is not diminished, and does not rest, but runs day and night in his chariot, and his light shines 7 times stronger than that of the moon. But as regards size, they are both equal.
So,
Section 14, Chapter 73. And after this law I saw another law with reference to the smaller luminary, whose name is Moon, and her circuit is like the circuit of the heavens, and her chariot in which she rides is driven by the wind. And in a measure light is given to her. Every month her ascent and her descent is changed. Her days are like the days of the sun, and when her light is equal, her light is the 7th part of the light of the sun. And thus she rises, and her beginning in the east comes forth on the 30th morning, and on that day she becomes visible, and is for you the beginning of the moon on the 30th morning, together with the sun in the portal whence the sun proceeds. And the 1/2 is prominent by the 7th part, and her whole circuit is empty, and there is no light with the exception of the 1/7 part of the 14th parts of light. And on that day when she takes up the 7th part, and the half of her light contains 1/7 and 1/7 part, and the half of it, she sets with the sun. And when the sun rises, the moon also rises with him, and takes a half portion of light. And in that night, in the beginning of her morning on her first day, the moon sets with the sun, and is darkened in that night with the 7th and the 7th portions, and the half of one. And she will rise on that day with exactly the 7th part, and will come out and become smaller from the rising of the sun, and shine the rest of her days with the 7th and the 7th part. Chapter 74. And I saw another course and law for her, making her monthly course according to that law. And Uriel, the holy angel, who is the leader of them all, showed me all things. And I wrote down all their positions as he showed them to me. And I wrote down their months as they were, and the appearance of their lights, till 15 days are completed. And in 7 single parts she completes all her light in the east. And in 7 single parts she completes all her darkness in the west. And in certain months she changes her settings, and in certain months she goes her peculiar course. And in 2 the moon sets with the sun, in those 2 portals which are in the middle, in the 3rd and in the 4th portal. She comes forth 7 days, and turns and returns again by that portal through which the sun comes, and in that she completes all her light and recedes from the sun, and enters in 8 days into the 6th portal, through which the sun comes forth. And when the sun comes out of the 4th portal, she comes out 7 days, so that she comes out of the 5th, and returns again in 7 days into the 4th portal, and completes all her light, and recedes and enters the 1st portal in 8 days. And she returns again in 7 days to the 4th portal, through which the sun comes forth. Thus I saw their places, the sun rising and setting according to the order of their months. And in those days, if 5 years are taken together, the sun has 30 superabundant days, and all the days which belong to him, for one of these 5 years, when they are full, are 364 days. And the superabundance of the sun and of the stars is 6 days. Of 5 years, each at 6 are 30 days. And the moon recedes from the sun and the stars 30 days. And the moon brings in all the years exact, so that their place neither precedes nor recedes 1 day, but she changes the years with the exact justice in 364 days. 3 years have 1,092 days, and 5 years 1,820 days, so that there will be in 8 years 2,912 days. To the moon alone belongs for 3 years 1,062 days, and for 5 years she recedes 50 days. To the sum of these are added 62 days. And thus, in 5 years there will be 1,770 days, so that the days of the moon for 8 years will be 2,832 days. For her receding in 8 years is 80 days, and all the days she remains behind in 8 years are 80 days. And the year is justly finished in accordance with their stations and the stations of the sun, rising through their portals, through which they rise and set 30 days. Chapter 75. And the leaders of the heads of the thousands, who are over all creation and over all the stars, are also with the 4 intercalary days, which cannot be separated from their places, according to the whole reckoning of the years. And these serve the 4 days which are not counted in the reckoning of the years. And on their account men make a mistake in them, for these luminaries serve in reality on the stations of the world, 1 in the first portal, and 1 in the third portal, and 1 in the fourth portal, and 1 in the sixth portal. And the harmony of the course of the world is brought about by its separate 364 stations. For the signs and the times and the years and the days, these the angel Uriel showed to me, he whom the eternal Lord of glory had placed over all the luminaries of heaven, in the heavens and in the world, that they should rule on the surface of the heavens and be seen on the earth, and be leaders for the day and for the night, the sun and the moon and the stars and all the serving creatures who keep their course in all the chariots of heaven. The angel Uriel showed me also 12 openings in the circuit of the chariot of the sun, from which the feet of the sun come forth, and from them comes the warmth over the earth, when they are opened at times destined for them. There are also some for the winds and for the spirit of the dew, when they are opened at times, standing open in the heavens at the ends. 12 doors I saw in the heavens, in the ends of the earth, out of which come forth the sun, and the moon, and the stars, and all the deeds of heaven, from the east and from the west. And many window openings are to the left and to the right thereof, and one window in its time produces warmth, like those portals from which the stars come forth, as he has commanded them, and which they set according to their number. And I saw chariots in heaven, running in the world, above and below these portals, in which the stars that never set turn. And one is greater than all, and this one courses through the whole world. Section 15. Chapter 76. And on the ends of the earth I saw for all the winds 12 portals opened, from which the winds come and blow over the earth. 3 of them are open on the face of the heavens, and 3 in the west, and 3 on the right of heaven, and 3 on the left. And the first 3 are those towards the east, and 3 towards the north, and 3 behind those which are on the left towards the south, and 3 in the west. Through 4 of these come winds of blessing and of peace. And through those 8 come winds of injury. When they are sent, they bring destruction to all the earth, and to the water on it, and to all those who dwell on it, and to everything that is in the water and on the land. And the first wind from these portals, which is called the eastern, comes forth from the first portal, which is towards the east, inclining towards the south. Out of it comes destruction, dryness, and heat, and death. And through the second middle portal comes forth the right mixture. There come forth rain and fruitfulness, and peace and dew. And through the third portal, which is towards the north, come forth coldness and dryness. And after these winds towards the south come forth through 3 portals. Firstly, through the first portal of them, which inclines towards the east, there comes forth the wind of heat. And from the middle portal, which is beside that one, there come forth a sweet incense and dew, and rain and peace and life. And through the third portal, which is towards the west, there come forth dew and rain and grasshoppers and destruction. And after these northerly winds from the 7th portal, which is towards the east, inclining to the south, there come forth dew and rain, grasshoppers, and destruction. And out of the middle portal direct there come forth rain and dew, and life and peace. And through the third portal, which is towards the west, which inclines towards the north, there come forth fog and hoarfrost, and snow and rain, and dew, and grasshoppers. And after these, the winds which are towards the west, through the first portal, which inclines towards the north, there come forth dew and rain, and grasshoppers, and coldness, and snow, and frost. And from the middle portal, there come forth dew and rain, peace and blessing. And through the last portal, which is towards the south, there come forth dryness and destruction, burning and death. Thereby the 12 portals of the 4 portals of heaven are completed. And all their laws and all their destructions and their virtues I have showed to you, my son, Methuselah. Chapter 77. They call the first wind the eastern, because it is the first. And they call the second the southern, because the Most High descends there, and especially does the Blessed One in eternity descend there. And the name of the west wind is the diminishing, because there the luminaries of the heavens diminish and go down. And the fourth wind, called the north, is divided into 3 parts, and one of them is for the dwelling of men, the second for the seas of water, and for the valleys, and for the woods, and for the streams, and for the darkness, and for the fog, and the third part with the garden of justice. I saw 7 high mountains, which were higher than all the mountains which are on the earth, and from them there comes hoarfrost, and days and times and years cease and depart. I saw 7 rivers on the earth, larger than all the rivers. One of them, coming from the west, empties its waters into the great sea, and 2 of them come from the north to the sea, and empty their water into the Erythraean Sea in the east. But the other 4 come from the side of then, north over to the sea, 2 of them to the Erythraean Sea, and 2 empty in the great sea, according to others in the desert. I saw 7 great islands in the sea and on the land, 2 on the land and 5 in the great sea. Chapter 78. The names of the sun are these: the first, Arhares; the second, Thomas; and the moon has 4 names: Asonia; the second, Ebla; the third, Benasse; the fourth, Ere. These are the 2 large luminaries. Their circuit is like the circuit of heaven, and in size both are equal. And in the circuit of the sun there is a seventh portion of light, from which some is given to the moon, and according to a measure it is added till the seventh portion of the sun is ended. And they set and enter the portals of the west, and go around by the north, and come out of the portals of the east on to the surface of the heavens. And when the moon is raised, she is seen in the heavens, having in herself the half of the seventh part of the light, and in 14 days her light is completed. Also, 3 times 5 portions of light are put into her, so that on the 15th day her light is completed, according to the sign of the year. And it becomes 3 times 5 portions, and the moon becomes so by the half of the seventh part. And in her decrease on the first day, she decreases to 14 parts of her light, and on the second she decreases to 13 parts, and on the third she decreases to 12 parts, and on the fourth she decreases to 11 parts, and on the fifth she decreases to 10 parts, and on the sixth she decreases to 9 parts, and on the seventh she decreases to 8 parts, and on the eighth she decreases to 7 parts, and on the ninth she decreases to 6 parts, and on the 10th she decreases to 5 parts, and on the 11th she decreases to 4 parts, and on the 12th she decreases to 3 parts, and on the 13th she decreases to 2 parts, and on the 14th she decreases to the half of the seventh part, and her light which was left on the whole disappears altogether on the 15th day. And in certain months the moon has each time 29 days, and once 28. And Uriel showed me another law, when the light is added to the moon, and from which side of the sun it is added. All the time in which the moon continues in her light, she increases opposite the sun, till on the 14th day her light is completed in heaven, and when she shines in full her light is completed in the heavens. And on the first day she is called the new moon, for on that day light is raised upon her, and she is completed exactly on the day the sun descends in the west, and when at night she ascends from the east, and shines all night till the sun rises opposite her, and the moon is seen opposite the sun. Once the light of the moon comes, there months she makes each time 29 days in which she makes her decrease. In the first time and in the first portal for 177 days. And in the time of her departure, she is seen each time 30 days during 3 months, and each time 29 days during 3 months. At night she appears each time as a man 20 times, and during the day like the heavens, for there is nothing in her except light. Chapter 29. And now, my son Methuselah, I have showed you all things, and the whole law of the stars is completed. And he showed me all their laws for every day, and for every time, and for every government, and for every year, and her departure, according to her order, in each month and in every week, and the decrease of the moon, which takes place in the 6th portal, for in that 6th portal her light is completed, and from then there is the beginning of the month. Also the decrease which takes place in the 1st portal, in its time, till 177 days are completed. In the law of weeks, 25 weeks and 2 days, and how she tarries behind the sun, and according to the law of the stars, 5 days in one time exactly. And when this place which thou dost see is completed, this is the picture and the portrait of each luminary, which the great angel Uriel, who is their leader, showed to me. Chapter 80. And in those days Uriel answered and said to me, Behold, I have showed thee all things, O Enoch, and have revealed to thee that thou shouldst see the sun, and this moon, and those who lead the stars of heaven, and those that revolve, their deeds, and their times, and their departures. And in the days of the sinners the years will be shortened, and their seed will be tardy on their lands and on their meadows. And everything on the earth will change, and will not appear in its time. The rain will be prevented, and the heavens will retain it. And in those times the fruit of the earth will be tardy, and will not grow in its time, and the fruit of the trees will be prevented in its time. And the moon will change her order, and will not appear in her time. And in those days it will be seen on the heavens that a great unfruitfulness will come on the outermost chariot in the west, and she will shine more brightly than according to the order of light. And many of the leaders of the stars of command will err, and they will change their paths and deeds, and those subject to them will not appear in their time. And the whole order of the stars will be kept from the sinners, and the thoughts of those who dwell on the earth will err concerning them. And they will be turned from all their ways, and will err and consider them gods. And evil will increase over them, and punishment will come upon them to destroy them all. Chapter 81. And he said to me, O Enoch, contemplate the writing of the tablets of heaven, and read what is written thereon, and learn each one. And I contemplated everything on these tablets of heaven, and read everything that was written, and learned everything, and read the book, and everything that was written in it, all the deeds of men, and all the children of flesh who will be on the earth to the generation of eternity. And then I immediately blessed the Lord and the everlasting King of glory, that he had made all the things of the earth. And I blessed the Lord on account of his patience, and blessed him on account of the children of the world. And at that time I said, Happy the man who dies as a just and good one, concerning whom there is no book of iniquity written, and against whom no blame is found. And those 3 holy ones brought me and placed me on the earth before the door of my house, and said to me, Announce everything to thy son Methuselah, and show to all thy children that no flesh is just before the Lord, for he has created them. 1 year we will leave thee with thy children, till thou art again strengthened, that thou mayest teach thy children and write for them, and mayest testify before them all, thy children. And in the 2nd year they will lift thee up out of their midst. Let thy heart be strong, for the good will announce justice to the good. The just will rejoice with the just, and will congratulate themselves among themselves. But the sinner will die with the sinner, and the renegade sink down with the renegade. And those who do justice will die on account of the deeds of men, and will be gathered in on account of the deeds of the impious. And in those days they completed conversing with me, and I went to my people, blessing the Lord of the worlds. Chapter 82. And now, my son Methuselah, all these things I relate to thee, and write for thee, and I have revealed to thee everything, and have given thee books concerning them all. Preserve, my son Methuselah, the books from the hand of thy father, and give them to the generations of the world. Wisdom I have given thee and thy children, and those who will be thy children, that they give it to their children, the generations to eternity, namely this wisdom above their thoughts. And those who understand it will not sleep, but will hear with their ears, that they may learn this wisdom, and it will please those who eat of it more than food. Happy are all the just, happy are all those who walk in the path of justice, and have no sin like the sinners, in the counting of all their days, in which the sun goes through the heavens, entering and departing from the gates, each time 30 times, together with the heads of the thousands of this order of the stars, together with the 4 that are added and separate between the 4 portions of the year, which they lead and enter with them 4 days. And on their account men will be at fault, and will not count them in the reckoning of the whole world. But men will be mistaken and will not know them exactly, for they belong to the reckoning of the year and are exactly marked forever, one in the first portal, and one in the third, and one in the fourth, and one in the sixth. And the year is completed in 364 days. And the account of it is true, and the marked reckoning exact. For the luminaries and the months and the festivals and the years have been shown and given to me by Uriel, to whom the Lord of all creation had given command in reference to me of the host of the heavens. And he has power over night and day in the heavens, that he may show light over men, the sun and the moon, and the stars, and all the powers of heaven which turn in their circuit. And this is the order of the stars that set in their places, and in their times, and in their festivals, and in their months. And these are the names of those who lead them, who watch that they enter in their times, and in their order, and in their occasions, and in their months, and in their powers, and in their positions. Therefore leaders who divide the 4 portions of the year enter first. After them, the 12 leaders of